Hello everyone, my name is I Can't Get the Green Screen to Work, and welcome back to Echo. That's the whole name. Oh man, and I am overjoyed because the save files actually retained for this. I don't know what I did differently, but it kept my freaking save files, and I'm so happy that I don't have to go back and do it all over again. So let's just enjoy it while we have it. The updates this time around are for TJ and for Flynn. So we're going to go do the TJ one first because that just... Boy. Are you fucking kidding me? I was so happy. I was so happy that my saves got retained, and then this shit. Well, I checked before the stream what happened so I wouldn't have to go through this entire shit again. And I fucking closed out of the game. I didn't mean to do that. Let's bring that shit back up. God damn it. Now I gotta realign this shit because OBS won't fucking work with the game for some reason. So... let's just fucking do the shit again. Fast forward. Yep, I'm excited. Woohoo. Lean on TJ. Gives a shit. Skipping. Totally gay. 100% gay. Nothing but the gay. Find TJ. Let's hope I can fucking remember. I believe we said something. Do nothing. Oh, game's not responding. Oh, no tits. Don't like that. I don't like that. Might as well just skip to the next fucking choice. Skip to the next choice, goddammit. Of course, with this game, I never know when the next choice is, so I might accidentally skip into the update. Yep. See, gotta be careful with that shit. Well, at least we know when to stop with doing that. We know that the last choice is... we know where the last choice is. Say something... then let's do nothing. The fuck is going on out there? My neighbors are going nuts today. Yeah, I know. This is the most interesting shit to watch, isn't it? Yes. Oh, goddammit, that was the last one? Motherfucker! If only my saves would work like they used to, then I wouldn't have to do this 3 times in a row. I really hate doing this on the stream. Like, if I had known... because I thought just simply checking to see if the save files would be there would be fine. But no, apparently I'm going to have to change my policy so that every time that an update comes out on any game ever, I'm going to have to replay the entire shit. How have you been? I'm doing fine. I just got up not long ago, so alright, now we could just skip forward, because apparently there's no choices past this point at all, not even in the update. So when I checked, we got to the school. Yeah, okay, hold up. Yeah, I gotta be careful here because this is where it is. This is where the shit is. You ass. I mean, this is a horror game, so I wouldn't imagine that there are any other outcomes. I'm super paying attention. Okay. So this is essentially where the update starts. We're finding notes. Definitely should have taken it by now. Okay, this is the line. Update starts. Okay, let's save. Save twice. I don't know why the save twice thing exactly, but people keep telling me to save twice. So, now, finally, we're here. It took us 10 minutes, and we're going to have to do this again for the Flynn route probably, but, we got it. So, here we go. So, TJ's the one reading, I believe so. So you went to the school. You found it with some tools. Next, go to where I sleep. It's where I keep my secrets. Something Chase can't keep. Sid. It's silent for a moment as we take that in. I feel my face flush and my fur prickle as I wonder what the hell the last line is supposed to mean. Carl and TJ don't look at me, but I can sense that they want to. Carl's the first one to make a sound, clearing his throat. So, Sydney's bedroom, maybe? That's what I'm thinking. This is a kid writing this stuff, so it should be pretty straightforward. I shake my head. Really, guys? TJ finally looks over at me. What? There's a defensive tone in TJ's voice, and I know he knows what I'm about to say. This is way too much. TJ frowns at me. Too much what? You know. I trail off, not used to TJ looking at me this way. He lets the silence drag on, and I look over to Carl for help. He clears his throat again. You know, Tej, this is pretty weird. Like, someone should have probably taken it by now. Why does that have to be the case? People could have just messed with it. We almost did. The fuck? TJ looks back down at the note, holding it in both paws. I reach out for it, but TJ pulls it back like I'm going to try and steal it from him. Can I look at it for a sec? TJ hesitates, then holds out to me slowly. I eye the links as I reach out, taking the note from him gently. TJ's behavior alone has me deciding that this whole thing is definitely a bad idea. The note looks old, just like the first two we found. Oh, shit. My phone lit up. I was surprised. Hate that Snapchat lights up your phone. Like, that's annoying. The writing looks the same, too. Maybe it's possible that Sydney came in here to hide the note, wanting to make this scavenger hunt especially scary for us. But still, I can't shake the feeling that something is off about it. I need to find time to really think about this. For now, though, I hand the paper back to TJ, who takes it from me gingerly as if worried it'll fall apart. Carl, do you know who lives in Sydney's old house now? Carl tips his head back as if thinking. I can't remember his name, but he's a red panda, I think. Well, let's go then. I give a start. To the house? His family moved out right after it happened. There's no way it's still there, TJ. The other two were. This is different, though. Might as well try. I can't imagine going up to the new homeowner and telling him about Sydney and this posthumous scavenger hunt and him just letting us in. But the determined look on TJ's face tells me right away that I won't be able to talk him out of it. I sigh. Well, can we at least do it tomorrow? I look at my phone. It's almost 10. TJ doesn't say anything as he looks out the window, his face barely visible in the darkness. Carl shifts around next to me. Yeah, I'm getting pretty tired. We'll have all day tomorrow. TJ suddenly turns around and heads for the door. Fine, but we are going. I am, at least. Carl glances at me, probably feeling as uneasy as I am. Hey, I'm coming too. Just think it'll be easier. TJ doesn't respond, and we make the rest of the treacherous journey out of the school in silence. Jenna looks up from her phone as I slide into the driver's seat. Find anything? Yeah. Another note? Yeah. Well, what did it say? I busy myself with searching my pockets for the keys, so Jenna turns in her seat to look back at Carl and TJ. Well? Next one's at Sydney's old house. What? Really? Yes, and we're going there tomorrow. TJ doesn't offer anything more, so Jenna turns back around in her seat and gives me a look. She seems to sense the mood, though, and doesn't question any further. As I stick the key into the ignition, TJ speaks up again. Chase, what did he mean by you not keeping secrets? A moment of silence goes by before I answer. I don't know, or I don't remember. It's been a long time. I lay awake next to TJ, listening to the lynx's steady breathing. I've been tossing and turning for the past 3 hours, trying to get some sleep, and my mind won't settle. This whole scavenger hunt has left me with such a bad taste in my mouth. Something about it is especially unsettling, and I've turned it over and over in my mind, examining it from every angle, and now I'm sure of it. I saw that fox hanging in the forest after Sydney died. That's why I was there in the first place. That's why I'd been so sad. What the fuck are you doing, dog? The fuck are you doing? Is there something behind the couch? Hold on, guys. No, it's just a bunch of fucking napkins that shouldn't be on the floor, but are. Here, you want a ball? Here's a fucking ball. Spoof found a clue, yeah. I turn over on my side, gripping my pillow in both paws as I stare at the wall, still listening to TJ's soft snoring behind me. So how the hell is any of this happening? It's scary, but not because I think Sydney's ghost is riding scavenger hunts or something, some stupid shit like that. No, someone wrote the notes pretending to be Sydney, then planted them around the town for us to find. And that someone is likely one of us. Leo, Carl, Jenna, Flynn, or even TJ. Are any of us sick enough to do something like that? And if so, who? I'll try to remember if I'd told anyone about that incident in the forest before today, and I honestly can't remember. Apparently, my mom had told some people about it. Jenna's parents, for one. I really can't imagine Jenna being the one. Whoever's writing them seems to be singling me out, too, mentioning the forest and how I told secrets. I roll back to stare at the ceiling and start wondering about TJ. He's been acting really strange the past few days, his bright, cheerful demeanor almost completely gone after we started the treasure hunt. I guess it's possible that he's upset enough to do something as crazy as this. Maybe it could make him feel like he's connecting to the person he'd watched die over a decade ago. Hey, Terrence. Maybe he did it a long time ago, and it's only now that we've come across them. Maybe he can't remember because he's buried those memories. Those papers do seem pretty old. But I can't shake the feeling that this person has it out for me in some way. I think about how Carl was the one to find the first letter. But I almost immediately dismiss the idea that Carl might be involved. He would have no reason to do it. Unless the only other person I can even imagine doing this is Flynn. He was the one most upset about Sydney's death, aside from TJ. Carl and Flynn seem to have grown pretty close over the past year or so. Could the two of them be involved somehow? It's pretty suspicious that it would just show up in Carl's basement. I roll back to my side, preferring to stare at the wall. I don't like suspecting my friends like this, but this whole thing is messed up on so many levels, and I'm really worried about TJ. Depending on how this all ends, it could make things even worse for him. Considering how Flynn treated TJ at the river, I wouldn't be surprised if it's leading up to something terrible. And on top of all that, there's the insidious way that these rhymes refer to me. I decided that I'm going to have to do something after we find the next note, depending on what it says. If we even find it at all. I'm hoping that we don't. If you go in, I'll give you $1. No. $5. No. 10. No. You could buy like 20 candy bars with that money. I'm not going in. All right. Quit yelling. Carl and I swing side by side, synchronizing our legs so that we swing back and forth at the same time. As always, it doesn't work because Carl's so much heavier than I am. The wind feels good on my fur, finally cooling me down after being out in the heat all day. Toby sits on top of the slide next to us, watching us with a bored look on his face. It's my turn, Chase. In a minute. It's been like 15 minutes. Nuh-uh. Toby sighs and sits back, pouting. I look back over at the old school and smile. But if you go inside, I'll let you. No! This is obviously a flashback or a dream of some sort. Toby's shout seems to echo, said the thing, around us, and I giggle. Fine. We swing a little longer, the rhythmic squeaking of the chains being the only sound. When's Sydney coming back with the popsicles? He's taking forever. Apparently it was a pothead even back then, because I haven't changed his voice. Maybe his mom caught him and made him stay home? Carl leans back in the swing, and I feel the entire thing shift around. I wonder if it's going to collapse. We should go to your house, Chase. It's too hot. I want to swing. I lower my feet and let them kick through the dirt as I slow myself down, sending a cloud of dust into the air. This talk about Sydney reminds me of something. Something I'd been told about yesterday, and now that he isn't here... Hey, guys. My mom told me something about Sid yesterday. Toby's already slid down the slide and walked up next to me, holding one of the chains of the swing as he tries to push me out of the seat. Push me, Toby? Don't you want to hear it? It's a secret. Oh, he told a secret. He told a secret. He is a bastard. I moved to stand between the two swings as Carl kicks his hooves into the dirt next to us. Keep swinging, Carl. I want to swing with you. Wait, what's the secret? Swing, Carl! Wait a minute. It's really weird. That seems to finally catch Toby's attention, and he settles down. What? Carl and Toby stare at me for the first time, and I feel a little worried about telling them. But having their full attention like this is kind of cool. You know what happened to Sid's dad a while ago when school started, right? Yeah. Carl's completely stopped on the swing now, staring at me. Well... my mom says the cops think it's really weird what happened. Sydney's dad died. He's in heaven now. Toby says this matter-of-factly and starts to swing a little again. Even if you're a Mormon, you can go to heaven. My dad said so. Yeah, but do you know how he died? I start whispering, oh, how he died, and looked over my shoulder at the dirt road to see if Sid is coming. It's empty for now. He accidentally got shot when he was hunting with Sid. That's what the adults told us, and he was accidentally shot, maybe while he was loading his gun. My mom said they aren't sure if that's what really happened, though. What do you mean? Toby seems to have taken interest again and stopped swinging, staring at me. Well, maybe Sid did something. Carl frowns. Like Sydney did it? I mean, I don't know, but my mom said to be careful around him, just in case. Toby's eyes suddenly widen even more as he suddenly understands. Sydney killed his dad? Shh! Toby flinches as I grab his muzzle with one paw, squeezing it shut. You have to keep it a secret. Toby just sits there staring at me. Carl does the same. Now I kind of wish I hadn't told them. They don't know, though. My mom just said to be careful, that's it. It might have been an accident. I talk kind of fast, like I'm trying to take back what I just said. I let go of Toby, but he just sits there and doesn't swing. Carl just stares at the ground, then his ears flick up. A few seconds later, I hear scuffling footsteps make their way up the dirt, and I turn around to see Sydney jogging towards us. His arms are filled with colorful ice pops wrapped in plastic. I don't remember what Sydney's voice was supposed to be, but... Hey, sorry. I had to go into the basement freezer to find some. They're super wolf pops. He stumbles up next to us, kicking up another cloud of dust. He stands there for a second, breathing heavy, sweating through his thick fur. Grab one? The three of us reach out automatically and take one of our own. Mine is partially melted already, blue liquid pooling at one end of the plastic. Sydney frowns at us. What were you guys talking about? Nothing. Carl says it almost before Sydney can finish a sentence. Sydney glares. Yeah, right. What were you guys saying about me? Sydney turns on me, and I shake my head, busying myself with opening the plastic. Then Sydney turns to Toby, his glare turning into a smirk. All right, Tobias, you'd better tell me what you were talking about. I feel my stomach turn even as I open the package and turn it upside down to pour the sweet blue juice into my mouth. Tell me or I'm gonna wrestle ya! Sydney goes at Toby with his paws up, baring his blunt claws. Toby eyes him for a moment, and then once Sydney gets close to the lynx, twists out in the way that only a cat can. Don't touch me! Toby hides behind me as Sydney turns to watch him, lowering his paws slowly. What's wrong? Toby doesn't say anything, standing behind me quietly. I can feel his cold ice pop pressing against my back. We stand in silence for a while, and I can see Sydney trying to figure out what's going on. I try to think of something fast. Hey, let's go to my house and play on the trampoline. Sydney's voice is Coach Grifter. I'm a kid! Yeah! Carl hops out the swing and starts walking towards the road. I follow him as Toby clings to my side. Sydney doesn't follow, and after a moment I turn back to look at him. He's glaring at me. What? He goes on glaring before throwing his ice pop into the dirt and running past us. You guys suck! He runs up the road and back towards town, disappearing into the bright sunset. Aww. Aww. That sucks. Friday. Oh, we're one day separated from the big fucking finale. Oh my god. And he went and got us popsicles and everything, and we're being dicks. Fucking Chase. Chase used to be a dick. I think that's been firmly established by now. Chase used to be a fucking dick. TJ gets up early in the morning and I fall in and out of sleep as he moves around the room quietly. The shower turns on at some point and I think I hear Jenna's voice. I fall asleep again and I wake up next to see Jenna in the corner of the room sitting at the little table typing away on her laptop. I stare at her groggily until she notices me. Morning. Still tired? It's almost noon. I rub my face into my pillow and groan. Guess I was up later than I thought. Hey, Morrow, what's up? I forced myself to sit up. Couldn't fall asleep. Yeah, I've been having trouble too. The beds are terrible. I look around. Where's Tej? Hike. What? He went on a hike. I sit there frowning at Jenna. She types a while and says she finally notices me staring and shakes her head. I don't know. He wanted to go alone. He's been asking us to go with him all week. I know. I think something's bothering him. Jenna pauses. Well, I know it's the scavenger hunt. Of course that's what's bothering him. I sit at the edge of the bed, rubbing my face with my paws. This was a bad idea. Jenna goes on typing. Maybe, maybe not. He really wanted to do it, so I'm gonna talk to him when he gets back, though. I stare at my feet for a moment, deciding on whether or not to just text him now. Jenna, do you think there's something weird about the treasure hunt? Jenna doesn't even look up from her screen. Of course I do. I think everything about it is weird. I mean, I don't even know if Sydney put those there. Jenna finally looks up at me. Why not? Just everything seems off. Who do you think put them there, then? I shrug. I don't know. Jenna stares at the computer screen for a while, not typing anymore. Well, the whole reason we're doing this is because of TJ. This seems to be what he wants to do. And even if someone else has left them there, if it's going to help him, then I'm going to go help him with it. Jenna shrugs. And in the end, all it is a treasure hunt. I'm just hoping that it ends at the house. Yeah. Jenna goes on typing, apparently done with the conversation, so I finally get up and go to the shower. Breakfast is long gone by the time I go to the lobby, and what's left is a few dried biscuits. So I opt to go to the diner instead, while Jenna opts to stay in the room and finish her paper. I sit at my usual booth in the corner of the diner, half-heartedly flipping through the menu. Janice comes over, takes my order, and my short answers to her pleasantries keep her from being too chatty. Once I'm done ordering, I sit back and look out the window, watching the bright sun bake the hot desert below. I imagine TJ out there on the trail trudging along the path under the 100-plus degree heat. Aside from worrying about what he might be going through right now, I also worry that he might pass out in this kind of weather. I could only hope that he had the right of mind to take along enough water to make sure to cool off like he did to me. I look down at my phone on this table, again considering whether or not I should call him. Maybe a text at least. I type out a quick one. Hey man, smiley face. Then I set my phone back down and wait for a response, wondering if I might drive out to the trail myself if he doesn't. That's when I sense someone move up next to the table. I look up expecting to see Janice, but I'm met with the sight of a young white deer with clasped paws holding a folded blue apron. I blank on his name for a few moments, and I'm left with my mouth hanging open like an idiot. Then I remember. Oh, Julian, what's up? Julian smiles. Hey there. My shift just ended, and I saw you sitting here. Wait. I wait, but he doesn't go on. Oh, I don't want to say it, but he looks like he's expecting it, and I can't really find a way out, so... Wanna sit down? Yeah, sure. Julian responds quickly and slides in the booth across from me, setting his folded apron down on the table. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. I wonder if I should sound a little annoyed. A part of me hopes that I do, so that he might get the hint like Janice did. But he goes on sitting there, interlocking his fingers and resting his forearms on the table. How are you today? Good. You? Julian shrugs. Yeah, I've been better. This job is really starting to wear me out, you know. Yeah, I've heard a few like that. I've had a few like that. While the buck seems nice enough, I don't think I've had more than 5 conversations with a guy in my entire life. He was just a regular face that I saw through middle and high school, a part of the background. It wasn't until the last few years of high school that I noticed him and TJ hanging out, and TJ was the only reason we ever briefly interacted. So I'm a bit confused now as to why he's suddenly taken an interest. Yeah? What sort of jobs do you have? What sort of job do you have? Well, I'm between jobs right now. I'm going to school, but I'll probably stock shelves over the summer like I did last year. So that job wore you out? Well, no, but my fast food job did. The one I had in high school. I kind of like stocking boxes and putting stuff on shelves. See, I think food service jobs are definitely the worst, so I can see why stocking might be a little better. He breaks off as Janice comes back, setting down my chicken sandwich. Oh, you know Chase, Julian. I don't remember if that's Janice's voice, but whatever. A little. I know him through TJ. Ah, well, if you see that boy again, let him know that I'd like to chat with him. I look up, and Janice gives me a wink before bustling off. I decided to definitely not let TJ know. But anyway, I'm going to school too, over at Mesa, and this diner has some seriously flexible hours. Only reason I'm still here. At least you guys don't seem very busy, even during the lunch hour. I nod at the 2 or 3 other occupied tables. Yeah, it's a wonder we're still in business. Probably gonna have to close down in a year or 2. That idea actually makes me a little sad. I look down at my chicken sandwich, feeling a bit awkward at the idea of Julian just watching me eat, so I leave it on my plate for now. Julian leans back and looks out the window. So, where's TJ at? I thought you two were hanging out. I get the feeling that this is the main reason why Julian is talking to me. Yeah, he went off on a hike earlier this morning and I slept in. Oh, I see. He still do that a lot? He still do that? God. I shrug. Oh no, we've only been here about a week. He does love going on hikes, though. I mean, does he do that at CCU? I stare at Julian for a second before I realize what he's talking about. Oh, no, I don't go to CCU. I'm at Pueblo. Huh, so you guys met up here? Well, I picked him up and brought him here, along with Jenna, but she goes to Pueblo, too. I grew a little frustrated having to explain everything to this guy. All I want to do is eat, then go back to the motel and wait for TJ. I see. Well, TJ was my best friend during senior year after you and Carl left. We hung out all the time. After he went to college, we kind of lost touch. He's not very active on social media. I'd only seen TJ post a few pictures since he started classes.
A few were of him on the college soccer team, and one was him standing in a prayer circle along with an inspirational quote. But Julian revealing that he was TJ's best friend towards the end of high school cools my exasperation. I suppose he does have a reason to know what TJ might be up to. He was kind of depressed right after graduation, so I've been a little worried about him. Depressed? That surprises me. I've never known TJ to be depressed. I'm sure he's been sad before, but not outright depressed as far as I know. Maybe I don't know much about him. I thought it might have something to do with graduation, but it went on all summer. Oh, well, if you want to talk to him, I could definitely let him know. I gesture at my phone on the table. I also make a mental note to myself that I should talk to TJ too, about everything. Julian smiles. That would be great. Please do. I think he must have changed his number after leaving. Okay. I hesitate, then pick up the phone to type out a brief message. TJ hasn't texted me back yet. How long have you known TJ? I set the phone back down and settle back into the booth. Since he got here in 2001, so 14 years ago? Wow, that's a long time. Yeah, it really is. You guys always been good friends? For the most part. I had times where I was kind of a dick to him, but he's always been a good friend to me. I see. Yeah, we all went to the same elementary school, but it wasn't until junior high that I met him in Bible study. Ah, of course. I always knew about you guys, though. The Echo Kids. Yep, that was us, the weirdos. Julian glances around before lowering his voice. It was a mean. What the fuck does it was a mean? But this town is kind of messed up. A lot of weird things happen here. Can't argue with that. Julian looks around again, biting his lip. He then lowers his voice another notch. Hey, so this is going to be a bit weird, and I don't want to offend you, but it's something that's bothered me for a while. I eye Julian wearily. Yeah? TJ told me what happened at Lake Emma a while back when we were talking about death and heaven. I feel a little chill go up my spine. He never actually told me what happened, but I can tell it really affects him. Julian pauses, but I don't say anything, keeping my eyes fixed on the table. No, you don't have to tell me. And if it makes you uncomfortable, please don't. But I feel like if I have a better idea of what happened, I might understand him a bit better. Julian brings his interlocked fingers up to his chin and to rest it on. I'm not gonna ask him to tell me, of course. I know it was a long time ago, but I know you can carry stuff like that around for a long time. So if you're not okay with it, then please just let me know, and I'll change the subject. I contemplated for a moment, wondering if the buck is out of line to be asking about such a thing. I decide he isn't. Hi, Noisy Boy. How you doing? He's one of TJ's best friends, so in a way he's sort of connected to it. So I guess he does have a reason to know. Okay, but please don't bring it up with TJ. Like you said, it still really affects him. Never. Julian looks at me solemnly. I think for a moment, gathering my thoughts. It's been a long time since I thought of the story from beginning to end. It was around August, I think, 2003. It's a little bit hard to remember. What I do remember is that we'd all gone down to the lake to swim like we did almost every week. There's this little spot where the beach kind of curves in, and it's mostly sand and shallow water. That's where we'd usually hang out and swim.
Even though the water was always sort of stagnant there, it was at least safe and warm compared to the rest of the lake. I think at some point, one of us wanted to go skip rocks. We had to go further up the shore to do that, and TJ was more interested in building sandcastles. So he stayed behind while the rest of us went up the beach to find rocks. When you go up that far, you can't really see that spot anymore, so I'm not completely sure what happened. I vaguely remember looking back at TJ as we went up the beach. The Lynx bending over his castle, the back of his wet swim trunks covered in sand from when he'd sat down. Sydney went with us, I at least remember that, but while we were skipping rocks, he just sort of disappeared. I glance up at Julian for a moment and see him listening attentively before I look back down at the table. Anyway, we heard some splashing and some shouting from TJ, and we all ran up to the beach to see Sydney floating out in the lake. I swam out there and got him. Too late, though. I don't mention the part where TJ was crouched in 3 feet of water staring at Sydney's body floating 20 feet away from him. I don't tell him that TJ's explanation for what happened always amounted to Sydney stepping out too far into water. Maybe the current knocked him off balance and pulled him in. How he'd even said that it almost looked like an invisible shark had grabbed Sid and pulled him out. How none of it makes any sense at all. None of us are sure what happened. Seems to be enough for Julian, though, as he shakes his head. I'm very, very sorry to hear that, but thank you for telling me. All I knew was that a friend of his drowned in the lake. He didn't tell me how close he was to it. It makes sense why that would still deeply affect him. No problem. I realize that Julian is probably the first person that I've ever told a story to outside of Echo. I also realize that it wasn't at all hard to do. I suppose it's easier to tell someone who wasn't related to the incident, someone that has no connection to the raw horror of that day. That, and a lot of time has passed. Maybe I just got over it without even knowing. But yeah, Echo is a crazy place. You know about that mass hysteria thing that happened about 100 years ago? This place is kind of famous for that. Almost all the paranormal podcasts I listen to have an episode on it. My heart skips a beat as I suddenly remember my project. Cover my face with my paws. Shit. What's wrong? Did I say something? I cover my face to see Julian looking at me with some concern. No, I just forgot some schoolwork that I need to get done, a project. The excitement of the scavenger hunt completely wiped the thought of it from my mind. Oh, what kind of project? A news report on Echo and the mass hysteria incident. I've barely done anything on it since I got here. Hey, that's so cool. Do you need help? I blink, the buck's eagerness surprising me. For the first time, I see him become embarrassed, the skin on the inside of his ears turning a dark red. Sorry, it's something that's always interested me, so I got a little excited. I glanced down at my phone to see that I still haven't gotten a message from TJ, so I get an idea. Despite my initial annoyance, I like how considerate Julian was about the whole lake incident. I also want to give him a chance to see TJ before the end of our trip. Well, actually, I've been meaning to get some footage of the mines, or at least the opening, since it's sealed up. If you want, we can head up there now to get some shots, and at the same time look for TJ. The trail is in that area. Julian perks up. Hey, that'd be really awesome. Thanks. Do you want to eat that first? I look down at my sandwich, then shake my head. I'll just eat it on the way to the motel. Oh, I got my truck. I could drive you over, and there's a bunch of room if you need it for your equipment. Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks. Just let me get a to-go box, and we can leave. 20 minutes later, and we're heading up the narrow canyon road toward the mine. I haven't been there in years, but the dirt road leads straight to it, so I don't have to look up instructions. Julian chats away while I eat my lukewarm sandwich out of a foam to-go box. While there's an almost robotic quality to the buck with how articulate he is, he's also really nice.
I can certainly see why TJ would call him a friend. The bumpy road curves upward, and finally we get to the mine. Oh, God. Considering what we know happened here in other routes, and considering we know what is still happening here, even without our involvement, it's still... There's a wide open dirt space for parking, along with some concrete barriers along the edge of the drop-off. There are a few signposts, probably giving the brief history of the mine, and then there's TJ. The Lynx is sitting at the opening of the mine, right at the entrance. He's leaning back against the rebar grid that sealed the entrance. What the... Julian stops talking and looks over at me, then in the direction I'm looking. Whoa, is that Tej? I don't say anything because I realize how limp the Lynx looks, his head tipped back, his paws limply laying on the ground. I'm out of the truck before Julian could even park, and my to-go box spilling out of the gravel as I jog towards TJ. TJ! Hey, what's wrong? You okay? The Lynx doesn't respond when I get to him, and I see that his eyes are open, but they're rolled back to the point where I can only see white. I bend over him, trying to help him sit up better, made more difficult by his bulky backpack getting in the way. As I'm doing this, I feel a rush of cold air from the mine blowing out through the rebar. I ignore it at first, focusing on what on trying to get TJ to respond to me. Then I realize there's a hissing sound to go along with it. Someone exhaling. I glance to my left through the grid, and I come face to face with a blood red visage of rage. I see piercing yellow eyes and a row of white blocky teeth. Then all the blackness that extends beyond it? What? Oh, to be continued, my aching ass. What the fuck was that? What was that? What the fuck was that? So, holy shit. God damn, what the fuck was that? Well, that's fucking scary. Jesus tits. Well, that's fucked, man. So something got TJ. We don't know what exactly is the condition of TJ at this point. We don't know what exactly he was looking at. Oh, shit. Right now I'm setting up so that we can... Oh, god damn it. I fucking... root beer. He got water, so we get water. Tuna melt onion rings. Tuna melt. And onion rings. Oh, yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah, just fast forward to the next choice, please. Some sort of monster, maybe. I don't know. Switch the positions. D's a soft spot. None of this fucking matters. Enter the school. God damn, this choice fucks with me. Tell the truth. Follow them. Don't really have the option. The weird possession thing. Reassure him? This is when we're looking at the plans. I'm really worried of what happened to TJ. We're going to save here real quick. Because, I don't know if there is a... Oh, okay, so we're actually supposed to say... play it cool. And then say it's too weird, because that's what we did. We played Hip Hop and Chill Mix. And then we danced with Daxton. Ah! And this is where the update starts. So there we go. Now we save twice. And then here we are. So now we are back on the Flynn route. Hell yeah. Peel a bit of wallpaper off the mantle with my thumb. Without all the furniture, the place looks much older than it actually is. I managed to get in by unblocking the front door with one of my credit cards. One of my many credit cards. Hey, Dilly. The deadbolt never worked, so I guess my parents didn't fix it after I left town. Everything kind of smells faintly familiar. Oh, so I guess we're in our old house. Just dustier, and without my mom's burning cinnamon incense that seemed to be a constant feature of my childhood. I rest my forearms against the windowsill and let my eyes lull a bit. Holy God! I don't trust Leo, so I don't like it when he's suddenly there. Otter! Whoa! Leo smacks his paws on either side of the window, looking up at me from the outside with a pleased expression on his muzzle. That fuck. Jesus, man! I blink some. Why are you shirtless? Leo pulls back some, crossing his arms over his chest. He rolls his shoulders, a sort of indirect shrug. It's getting hot, especially with all them moving around and grilling. I give him a dubious look. Yeah, you're a hot dog, all right. The Red Wolf responds with a delighted smile, a harumph trying to change gears a bit. I harumph. You're not, like, self-conscious or anything? I mean, it isn't like the height of football season for you anymore. I flick my gaze toward his stomach. Leo's demeanor cools, though he keeps smiling as if he's trying not to let that one set in too much. He points up toward my chin. Do you dye that? What? My goatee? My goatee? Is that what you call it? Yeah. He lets out a little humored grunt. What? Seems like a lot of work for a little scruff of hair, yeah? I frown, pushing my back away from the window. Leo seems to stiffen some. Hey, I'm just kidding. You look very good. Seeing you dancing and all that takes me back. But you are different. He pushes his tongue against the roof of his mouth, Leo's eyes darting from side to side as he tries to find the right words. I haven't seen him like this since we were younger. I wonder if his English has been getting worse without us around. His family really only speaks Spanish at home, and I imagine that it's the same at the shop he works at. Thanks. I'm honestly not sure how to respond to that. What am I doing that's so different? I can't explain it. You're just like how you used to be, just less. I feel a sinking sensation within my chest. Leo suddenly snaps his fingers. Mellowed out! That's it. Listen, Leo, you said you wanted to talk, right? Because if your big point is that I'm not a complete spaz anymore, I'm already aware. Leo furrows his white-ridged brow. You never were a spaz, and I was getting to that. What the fuck was Daxton's voice? Chase? I don't know. I spin around to see a familiar salamander standing anxiously behind me. Oh, hi. Hola, scooter guy. Leo leans past me and waves. Hey, got time to talk, Chase?
I mean, I think sure. He wanted to talk to us, so we kind of need to talk to him. That, and I don't really feel like giving Leo any time, so I think we would just say sure, but what do you all think? We're streaming, so you all have as much voice in this as I fucking do. The idea of a clear liquid is amazing to me. Got one vote for sure. Got one vote. I don't know why I said it like that. Send Leo to a hospital. Goddamn. Another vote for speaking to him. Another vote for sure. Fuck it, do whatever. Alright, sure. Great, thank you. Chase. When I turn back, Leo has a stern look on his face, though he's quickly replaced it with a polite smile. Chase, I've been meaning to talk to you about some things. Leo lets out a large breath of air, checking his phone. Fucking Pops, man. He doesn't care whether or not it's my day off. Family helps family. Leo mumbles a few inaudible swears in Spanish before looking up at the two of us. Seems to think for a moment. I'll see you guys later. Chase, we're gonna talk. Right. I give him an awkward thumbs up. He nods, turning and making his way offward. Daxton pushes the tips of his fingers together, trepidation upon his face despite his initial request. I'd offer you a seat if this house still had furniture. Lets out a small puff of air, looking around and seeming to acknowledge his environment for the first time. Carl told me you grew up here. Yeah. The place isn't as old as it looks, by the way. I just think my uncle just really dug the whole prairie aesthetic. I'm admittedly a wee bit done with that theme at this point. Growing up in Colville, no surprise there. It's like, I try to find the right word, a facade of a town. Daxton nods slightly, not about to protest to that. He turns, walking past the doorway and into the foyer. Indoor windows, huh, though? Whose idea was that? What? I follow him. Just sort of off-center. They're really juxtaposition here. I don't know. It's a work of art. Daxton points to the teak-bordered windows. Surprisingly, none of the glass has been shattered yet. Oh, well, obviously not mine. My parents enclosed part of the porch when I was like 10. They left the windows, though. Daxton nods as he paces about the room, the floorboards creaking beneath his unpadded feet. And careful where you walk. I wouldn't doubt junkies shoot up in here. That stops the salamander, the blue-eyed fellow, shifting his gaze back to me. Right, good idea, that. He sniffs. So, I'm doing okay, Dilly. I lean against the back wall after a cursory glance, making sure it's spider-free. Daxton says nothing. In fact, he just keeps looking at me. A sense of unease begins to tingle down my spine as I remembered of last night, the way Daxton looked at me in the car as we drove home. He didn't say much the whole ride, thankfully. I had a dream last night. Can I tell you about it? I feel a mixture of relief and awkwardness. Sure. Daxton's mouth pulls to one side, the force contorting into a sort of sheepish half-smile. Well, it wasn't truly like a dream or nothing of the sort I'm familiar with. Dreams are the sorting and the categorizing of happenings of the days by the subconscious of the mind. You know how they are, where the sky never looks quite day or night, always some sort of violet or reddish, dusky setting. You always have some limited control over what environs surround you. Again, mainly on the subconscious level. In the dream, if you're worried, then you'll have a right to be worried, like a self-fulfilling prophecy or what have you. Fearing that the bad thing might happen to a loved one. The bad thing will happen to a loved one. Afraid that something scary might be in the room. There's something scary in the room. I look around briefly. He gesticulates in a swinging motion to get my attention, shifting my to digress. It's why the stressed, the traumatized, and the guilty get night terrors more than anyone else. Daxton lets his hands fall to his hips, his eyes trailing downward to the dusky boards beneath my feet. Lately I've been getting a lot of bad dreams, but ones that don't seem to, I suppose, align with me. I'm doing things I've never done in places I've never been, and that sense of subconscious agency is entirely absent. Like, I'm out in the pines and holding this rifle. Daxton. He looks up. No offense, but where is this going? Daxton's posture seems to go a little more rigid, the salamander's nostrils flaring as he exhales. I'm beginning to think that Daxton is a lot weirder than I initially thought. Okay, I'm getting to it. Last night, after you dropped me off, I fell asleep in the recliner in the living room. Shortly after, it felt like I woke up, but I wasn't in the house anymore. I was in some school computer lab I didn't recognize. You were there, except it wasn't you. He clears his throat. It was a different you, younger, louder. Carl and Flynn were kind of standing behind you too, but they weren't saying anything. Sometimes I'd blink my eyes and they were there, and sometimes they weren't. I think words were coming out of your mouth, but I couldn't make anything out. It was like a waterfall was rushing behind me. I started to hate you. I couldn't believe I had hung out with you voluntarily, like the sight of you made my stomach hurt. I blink, frowning some before opening my mouth to speak. However, Daxton cuts me off, continuing on. Hey, go on. There was something on the computer screen next to you that you kept showing over and over again. It was this other otter sitting in this bedroom with big sports poster on the wall. Other otter. And he was crying, staring at something in the corner of the room. Again, you were just playing this same scene over and over again. Eventually, you just deleted it outright, and that made me mighty perturbed for whatever reason. I wanted to hit you, so I did. Daxton sees the deepening frown on my face, and he smiles very slightly, though he quickly goes back to his more serious expression. It was like I teleported across the room. The next thing I knew, I had grabbed and hit you, but your body had the consistency of loamy sand. You were crumpling and dissolving every time I touched you. Your fur turned gray and speckled, and your face didn't look like you anymore. Everyone else started grabbing me, and I recognized Carl's arms, but there was a bunch of others. Even you somehow had a hold on me. No Flynn, though. Hell, I couldn't even see him anywhere. I remember calling for him, hoping he was back from the bar. Next thing I know, I'm on a beach. I'm just standing there, watching the tide lick at the sand beneath my feet. Then there's this... Daxton pauses, crossing his arms over his chest. There we go, he's in the center. There, that's the fucking one I want. For the thumbnail, of course. He moves across the room to lean against the wall beside me, staring ahead. Well, it's just this. I don't know what it was. I'm thinking it was a face, but it could have been a weird-ass rock. Kind of reminded me of an electrical outlet. And everything just went dark, and I was staring at the rock face, which started staring at me in turn.
I was just stuck there in real time, staring at it for, I guess, around 20 minutes. Then it faded away. Jesus. After that, I was at this sort of fort-looking place. Lots of old-timey looking folk around with this trumpet guy emblem everywhere. I kept asking the people around me where I was, but they would always just shuffle away. I followed this one fox lady with a big old blouse on around a corner, and suddenly I was an Echo again. The sky was wrong, but it was still Echo. I walked into my house and saw myself in the kitchen. Flynn, Carl, and you were there too. Ad Astra was on the TV. And there was this uneasiness in the air, because I was pissed about the whole computer lab thing. I wanted to yell at you about it, Carl for grabbing me, Flynn for abandoning me, and the other me for not being the real me. Salamander rubs his smooth forehead some and then seems to realize something. You didn't have a goatee either, which I thought was funny at the time. I remember saying, I guess someone shaved off your goatee after all. I reach up, pinching the excess scruff hanging below my chin. Still there. You just seemed confused about that. I'm confused about that now. Well, hold on. Flynn, Carl, and the other me just vanished at that point. I asked you where they went, and you told me they went outside to, and I quote, jerk each other off. Wow. You've only known Carl a day. It's a bit forward. Be quiet. You were completely different than the you from the computer lab. Older, for sure. We sat down, drank beer, and reminisced about things I don't remember. I stopped feeling so uneasy and scared. It's like you melted away all the weird bad shit that had happened prior. It became nighttime, and then you said you were sorry. I asked you why you were sorry, and then you hugged me. It was... Salamander pressed his thumbs together, avoiding looking at me now. The realest thing I had ever felt in a dream. I could feel your heartbeat, the bristle of your fur, the fabric of your shirt, everything. He touches his own chest and slowly curls his hand into a fist before letting it fall back to his side. You told me that to forgive someone is to release a prisoner, and discover that the prisoner was you. You let go of me and began fiddling with something. I heard Flynn laughing and turned around to see him walking through the door. Out of the corner of my eye, you began taking a bracelet off your wrist. You held up in front of my face and... Bracelet? Daxton shifts. Yeah. Did it have a little metal anchor attached to it? I don't know. I couldn't really see because, well, Flynn was there. But it wasn't a dream anymore. What? He had just gotten home from the bar, didn't say 2 words to me, and beelined to his room. There was no bracelet, of course, because I was wide freaking awake. I'm guessing that the laugh wasn't real either. It never felt like I was asleep in the first place, actually. But I'm left with the feeling of it all. Like, haven't you ever had a dream about somebody that felt completely different about, and then felt completely different about them afterwards? And I don't mean just like weird puberty sex dreams about your cousins or something like that. I furrow my brow some. Yeah, I guess, to the former. Are you saying that you feel that way about me now? I guess, hence is why I'm talking to you. I go quiet for a second, and I'm still not sure how to feel. Huh. I don't really know what to make of it, Daxton. I'm not really the eclectic, spiritual sort. Me neither. That's the thing. I mean, I own a Dreamcatcher and a couple of New Age albums, but who doesn't? I raise my paw. Daxton looks at me, slightly rolling his eyes. Didn't you say yesterday you had something similar happen to you, though, when you passed out at our place? I pause, then nod. Must have been the fishy cheese bread we ate. You thought that it was... You thought that had a fishy taste, too, right? I told Flynn not to put his catches in the damn freezer on top of the other food. Daxton sighs. I don't know, Chase. Talking to you about it seemed like a better idea in my mind. I shake my head, waving my paw to the side. No, it's fine, really. I'm glad that I'm not the only one dealing with this sort of stuff for once. Daxton perks slightly, looking me over. For once? Damn, I shouldn't have said anything. Now I hate trying to explain this. I drift my gaze to the cracked ceiling, staring at the hole where a brass chandelier once hung. I try to put on a nonchalant tone. I have mental problems or something. Out of the corner of my eye, I could see Daxton cock his head toward me. Smooth. Like sleep paralysis, lucid nightmares, that sort of thing. Sometimes I don't have any problems with them, but as of late, I don't know. I try not to think about it too much, otherwise I get all insomniatic. Man, that sucks. They all know about it. I gestured toward the backyard. I can still faintly hear TJ chatting excitedly about something, with Jenna chiming in every now and then. At first, everyone thought I was all making it up to be special. When did you start getting them? I don't know, around puberty, so tween years. I used to get really bad nightmares around then. I watched some clown TV movie and it traumatized my effed ass. I don't know what that means. Effed? Oh, it's going to explain it. Daxton looked over toward me, seeming to realize the need for clarification. Tadpole. Oh, cute. Daxton sputters out a dismissive noise. I was not cute. Well, neither was I. I was kind of a shithead. Daxton peers at me for a moment before his gaze trails up towards the brown fur on my scalp. It takes me a second to register. I mean, regarding how I treated other people. Gotcha. I reach up, trying to make my head fur lay flatter. Daxton, meanwhile, reaches into his pocket and checks his phone. Neither of us say anything for a while. I'm gonna head out, but thank you for listening and such. Oh, yeah, no problem, man. You gonna go home and do some writing? I think I might. Either that or put on some new age music. I'm sure Flynn loves that. What sort of music does Flynn like? I don't think he does. What? I don't think he listens to music, like, in general. Who doesn't like music? I shrug. Someone like Flynn, I guess. We're an otter, Dilly. Yeah, makes sense to me. He shoves his phone back into his pocket, stepping forward. Hey, since chances are I probably won't see you again, I just wanted to say it was good meeting you. I found myself smiling in spite of the previous tone of the conversation. Likewise. Thanks for introducing me to Carl. Never had a rich friend before. You lived in Colville. How have you never had a rich friend? Hey, I didn't live in the ritzy tourist-packed part of it, plus I was homeschooled. Hi, Jude. Jude and Base, the Orange Boys. That explains a lot. Shithead. He grinned some, and I could see the pink of the inside of his mouth. It's quite the contrast from the rest of him. I feel a bit better now. See ya, Chase. Ooh, do we shake his hand or hug him? I don't think a hug is appropriate during this moment. I don't think it's worthy of a hug necessarily. But, I mean, we have the option, so, it is an option. I probably wouldn't choose the hug, but what do you guys think? Gotta vote for hug, another vote for hug, another vote for hug. Horse hugs. 2 votes for shake. Another vote for shake hands. Vote for skake. Another vote for hug. This is what I'll do. I'll do the hug, but Alright, self-fulfilling prophecy. Here it comes. Here what comes? Oof. I moved to embrace him with a bit more velocity than I initially intended, nearly sending the tall amphibian back against the wall. Lets out a bemused noise, patting my back. I returned the gesture before pulling away.
Almost as graceful a dancer as you are a hugger. Ha. Now, time to find Carl. Okay, there seems to be no problem with that, so I guess we'll go with that. With that, he turns and heads out towards the backyard. Looking around, I don't see any sign of Leo. In fact, his van's no longer out front. I reach into my pocket, feeling my phone as a guilty sensation takes hold. I just know I'm probably going to get a whole nother wave of passive-aggressive text messages that I don't want to deal with. At this point, I probably deserve them. Can't keep dodging him like this. I noticed something odd sitting on top of the water heater. Curious, I pick it up. Oh, it's a picture of us. Oh. I never knew Mom framed this. Oh, definitely. This could be the thumbnail, but we'll see. I mean, it was just a shitty selfie I took my first day at Pueblo. She kept insisting that I send her a picture of myself on my big day. For some reason, I thought not smiling or looking at the camera was the cool thing to do. I wonder if they forgot this during the move. Though it kind of sucks. I wouldn't be surprised if they left it here on purpose. I haven't talked to them much lately. I should go. To be continued. Oh, man. So, it's weird because I saw in the update... there was a picture of Leo and of Chase, like a picture of them together. So I wonder if we had talked to Leo, if that picture would have shown up. Either way, that's weird. Anyway, so that's the end of the updates for this version. Oh, they got rid of the water effects on the menu, which I think is best. They never really worked quite right. So anyway, I think that will do. I think that'll do it for this. I think it has to, because that's it for this update. So thank you all very much for joining me on this update to TJ and Flynn's route. Yeah, see, like I imagined, the other portrait appears if you pick to talk to Leo instead of Daxton. Go talk to Leo and see what happens. I don't like going back and doing alternate stuff. Like, if I focused on seeing every possible thing that could happen in these routes, then I would be playing these forever. And, no. No. So thank you all very much for joining me. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I have been the trained unprofessional, speaking for the voices in my head when I say until then, fare thee well. Bye, everyone! Awkward moment while I go to click the button, and boom.